exist in shadow. They do not exist any longer once they are illuminated. Once the people become aware of the fact that they exist, their half-life is now very short. What is happening is that on a global level, we are awakening to the fact that there is a secret occult background to world power and world politics. Much of this awakening has gotten entangled with the idea of the current U.S. administration. Everybody is waking up to this at the same time, and it becomes really easy and convenient to attack whoever appears to be in charge, because on a deeper level they say, well, he's just a puppet, and the real people are the ones behind the scenes. Well, what I would like to point out is that my readings and my guidance have been clearly showing me that Obama is not one of the insiders. And I have never in my entire career had more hate and more anger and more venom and more ridiculous death threats given to me than I have since I simply made this point. But I was having dreams about Obama very clearly and unambiguously showing me that he was going to be taking down the negative powers that be before he ever even was clinching the Democratic nomination for president. Now again, it's really, really easy to believe otherwise because there is a massive, massive, massive propaganda effort out there in which lots and lots of information is being released through what appears to be alternative media, through what appears to be independent journalism by people just like you and me who have their own websites and are putting this stuff out. But in many cases, they are actually working for agencies such as the Pentagon and the NSA and the CIA. And they're putting stuff out there that deliberately wants to tie in all of the things that we are learning about the controllers, the hidden powers, and then convert all of that venom and all of that hatred as a target against the president. Now, I find it very, very interesting, as I said in Awake and Aware conference with Project Camelot in LA, that when you look at Fox News, it's saying all the same stuff about Obama that you're reading on these so-called conspiracy websites. Fox is not fair and balanced journalism, and it should be pretty obvious when you start looking at that whatever Fox says is true is probably the opposite of the truth. So people criticize Obama and say, oh, look at all the things he hasn't been able to accomplish. Well, I can tell you straight up that he has a great deal of opposition. There are many, many things that he has tried to do, and he has been stopped. In fact, it's safe for me to say this, that it has been given to me the knowledge that many times he has already been stopped and threatened and told don't go there by the powers that be on various things that he wanted to do. For example, let's look at the healthcare reform issue. The opposition to the healthcare reform has been outrageous, and what they do is they focus on a few small points while ignoring the overall greater objective that's going on there, which is that our health companies are massively, massively corrupt, and they're charging way, way, way too much for healthcare. They're vastly overinflating the value of the services they're providing, and as a result, it's a massive cash cow and profit machine. And it doesn't need to be that way. We now have the ability to turn the tides on so much of this stuff. But Obama is pushing for this disclosure. It's probably tied in with Stephen Greer's efforts because he has put out a briefing document that he has now said publicly he has given to the president. And it's only a matter of time before we get disclosure in some form or another. Let me say this again too. The insiders are furious with Obama that he is trying to make this disclosure. They do not want this to happen. So if nothing happens between now and the end of the year, that means they got to him. But it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. We don't know when this is going to happen, but I assure you, the changes that we're going through as a planet are changes that will affect everyone. They are changes that will happen. We're not going to have to sit around and wait for this. And one of the biggest things that these dreams are telling me over and over and over again with great redundancy is that we are right on the brink of a spectacular defeat of the negative elite on this planet. They are going to be severely diminished in what they are capable of doing because, on a fundamental level, we are waking up. And as we see the truth, that truth then percolates into the mainstream. There is a level of Obama that, of course, is very authentic, and that is the reason why he won the election. It's because there were many, many people who gave him money on a grassroots level. It is not some product of the Illuminati that this happened. And go ahead and send me a hate mail. I welcome your feedback, but again, I've been given so much information on this, and my dreams have been documented for 17 years, and I feel they're reliable. So you can hate whoever you like. You can attack me, you can attack the president, you can do whatever. But the point of the matter is that as you start to really understand enlightenment, when I had Clinton as president, I didn't attack him. When I had George W. Bush as president, I didn't attack him. It's always been the same message. There's only one of us here. The universe is a loving consciousness. It's an infinite consciousness. And we are all part and parcel of that infinite being. Every one of us, no matter how confused, is a wonderful, radiant part of this everlasting universe that we all reside in. No one deserves to be attacked. No one deserves to be hated. That being said, we can say no when someone is doing something that we don't like. And we do have the right to put a stop to many of the things that are going on. That is what the Obama administration is trying to do, and I have put out many examples of how that's happening. You've seen many conflicts going on between various levels of the administration because Obama, in trying to reach a mutual consensus, did hire in people from the old world system. There are people from both sides of the fence in terms of the two major secret societies, which I call the European Rothschild Illuminati and the American Rockefeller neocon movement, or the New World Order. They're both part of that administration. That is absolutely true. But they do not control the administration. That's an important point. So in future website updates, what I'm going to be doing is giving you the actual dreams that talk about this. I realized after meditating on this subject that it would be inappropriate for me to try to go through all these dreams in specific detail right now, because it would make a long, long recording. I wanted to give you 1 hour that allows us to focus in on the core issues. So again, in the greatest sense, we are going through an awakening. There will probably be economic upheaval that will be coming in a very near future. That's one of the things my dreams are saying. We can expect before the end of the year that there will be some sizable changes. To that effect, it was very fascinating that right before I went on the air on Coast to talk about these prophecies, the very same day, there was an announcement made in the UK Independent online that said that all these other countries, including Russia, India, Japan, and the Arab nations, are unifying to not have the dollar be the world reserve currency anymore, that there's going to be a basket of currencies, so to speak, that will be the new world reserve. Now, it's important to remember that when they're doing something like this, it's not an attack against the U.S. on the truest, deepest level. It is in the best interest of everyone, because the U.S. has been controlled by this Federal Reserve, which is a cabal of international bankers, whose main reason for having the world reserve currency be from the U.S. is so that they can have this world monopoly and control so many things throughout the world. The U.S. economy has been the open door through which that control is exacted. Many of these other countries are not run by the Illuminati, and they are not run by the New World Order. So you have to keep that in mind. We're dealing with a situation that is very different than what most people think. And the other countries are moving to break the back of the Illuminati. This is a very important step. There is significant movement within this country as well to stop the Federal Reserve and to audit the Federal Reserve and to basically change us back to a treasury-backed currency. That's very good for humanity. Another thing that's happening is the derivatives market is being torn down, as I said on Coast. The derivatives market is institutional corruption at the highest level, in which all of the basic wealth of this world is being siphoned out into these private companies and their coffers. Once we can break the back of the derivatives market, once we can break the back of the Federal Reserve, once a new currency can be established, which is coming from the good guys, not from the bad guys. Everybody's going to want to say this is, oh my God, New World Order, oh my God, one world currency, oh my God, they are taking over. It's just the opposite. We are seeing the fall of the old way of doing things. We are seeing the renewal of a true beneficial thing for humanity here. It's going to come from pain. It's going to come from biting through those things that have been tying us down. It's not going to be easy. So you're going to see some things that might appear pretty scary at first, but they're going to need to be scary in order to sufficiently rile up the public enough that we can get change to really occur, and that we can get a lot of these old things to fall by the wayside and have a much better perspective on who we are